Hi, how we doing, folks? Your boy Marcos. I really love this flying down to the stage like that, man. I think it's pretty dope. I'm not curious about why they didn't do it in a modern warfare or an advanced warfare. You know, the stages kind of start like they traditionally started. I thought it would kind of be almost obvious that they'd be starting some sort of action sequence or whatnot. Just based on that, it kind of looks a little bit cooler and really doesn't do anything else. But whatever. But yeah, today, man, here's the schedule basically for Wasteland Wednesdays from here on forward until Advanced Warfare, man. I'm going to talk a little bit about Titanfall today. Then next week, Snoop's going to take the stage. And after that, I think I'm going to do every, you know, I'm going to talk about a certain aspect of Advanced Warfare, whether it be perks or weapons or, you know, new exo abilities and stuff. I'm basically going to pick a topic for each week going after that, and we're going to talk about that over, you know, whatever I feel like playing. You know, the Black Ops Uno, the Black Ops Deuces, the which actually I haven't played Black Ops 2 since Ghost came out. I think I played it once afterwards. My disc doesn't work, so that's part of the reason. But another part of the reason is I just honestly don't feel like playing it, which is kind of strange. And you know, I think there's probably more people playing Black Ops 2 than probably are playing Ghost right now. And I think that's pretty big reason why, you know, when you saw Advanced Warfare, you didn't see Ghosts, you saw, you know, Black Ops 3 basically, with like, you know, steroids and boost jumps. Anyway. Today we're here to talk about Titanfall, though. We gotta give this game its due credit. Y'all remember Titanfall, man? Everybody remember Titanfall? Because I remember Titanfall. I still play Titanfall. They coming out with a DLC. You know, they announced one at Gamescom last week, and you know this is from one of the DLC maps. I'm pretty confident about that. Actually, I think it's from the Nemesis. I don't know, not Nemesis, the advanced the Ghost one. I don't know. This is from a DLC map in Titanfall. What happened to Titanfall? You know. There's a lot of things that happened to Titanfall. I think I posted a video, or maybe this is the video. I don't even remember if I did. No, I think I did post a Titanfall video when the DLC came out. And I was like, you know, it's starting to round up to be a complete game. Honestly, I post so many videos, I forget kind of, and I forget like a lot of things when people say. So every time like someone drops a comment, it's like, hey, you're pretty funny at 242. I'm like, thanks for that time. Let me go listen to what I say. My boy who always texts me. He's like, yo, you a clown for what you said, blah blah. And I'm like, I don't even know what video you're talking about, dog. The video a day, you know, it kind of like, oh, it gets erased. Anyway, you know, Titanfall to me was victim itself up. I was never hyped up for Titanfall. If you go back and look at videos like before, I mentioned that I'm sure it'll be a good game, which it is, but I also didn't think it was, you know, I never ever thought it'd take Call of Duty's place. I did, after I played it, I did say to myself, hey, you know what? There's a lot of things in this that Call of Duty could do. And I think, you know, the boost jump and just the speed movement and the verticality of the map is definitely something that, you know, they kind of took an attention to and said, yeah, look at that, we could kind of do this. But whereas in Titanfall, I think it's too much verticality. You know, I think it's very difficult. You got to find a medium, especially in terms of like online competitive shooters. And in all games, you kind of have to find a medium for everything. And I think that's kind of what Call of Duty's trying to do. They're kind of trying to do the Call of Duty thing and just throw a couple of specs in here from Battlefield, throw a couple specs in here from Titanfall, and mix and mash over here, plus what we come to know from Call of Duty. Whereas Titanfall kind of was like, you know what, we're going to take what Call of Duty did, and then just all over the place, and I think that's a little bit less effective. One of the big things that I knew right off the gate with Titanfall was, to me, it never felt like a complete game. It felt good. You know, I was shocked when it came out with, I think, 13 or 14 maps. You know, which is kind of standard, you know, for when an online shooter comes out. So I was pretty impressed by that, because I was expecting to be a very, you know, a large lack of maps. You know, and then they'll kind of put them out as the DLCs come along. Instead, what there was, you know, very small game, very limited amount of game modes, and not a lot of weapons. The weapon thing has been corrected. It's not going to be corrected. In all fairness, weapons kind of feel, I'm not going to say the same in this game, because there is a difference between them. You know, obviously your shotties and your snipers, but I kind of just rolled out with the first assault rifle they gave me, and that's it. I played with a couple other weapons just because you get the burn cards, and that's it. Now, if you go and play Titanfall now and you get yourself the DLC, it feels a lot more like a complete game. You have a wider array of maps. You know, these new maps, you know, there's like a snow map. There's I believe there was a snow map even when the game came out. There's like a jungle map, though. It adds definitely a variety to the map packs. And it also is, you know, the additional DLC and whatnot. Obviously, it does the bug fixes. There weren't any added weapons per se, but there were a lot of added game modes where you go now and hey, you got a list of maybe like 12 game modes you could play as. And even if it's not there, it just adds like a fleshed out experience. Like I play Attrition, period. I've dabbled in the other ones, but I play Attrition. Maybe a little Dom or whatever they call it in this game, but that's it. But just knowing that there's X amount of game modes and I could do that is what I do. You know, so when I play Ghost, for example, I play Kill Confirm, you know, now that they finally fixed up the scoring thing. But I used to play just Team Deathmatch. But hey, maybe one day I was in the mood for Search. Maybe I was playing, you know, I remember playing Black Ops 2. My boy Brian only play Search. I'm like, you know what, I'll play Search with you, man. Having that option, it just adds for fleshed out experience. There's a difference when you open up a Call of Duty game and there's like 16,000 different things you could do. So you got all these weapons, you got all these levels, you got all these prestiges, you've got the co-op mode, whether that be zombies, whether that be extinction, whether that be spec ops, and you got yourself the single player story, and whether that be, you know, the mission based variety, or whether it has like the strike missions and whatnot, whether it has the variety in it, like Black Ops 2 had, and the branching paths, or whether that just be your ghost, you know, point A to point B type thing. And then you got obviously the multiplayer, which has, you know, the hardcore, the core, separation, all different game modes. Boom, like that's a package. When you got Titanfall, you had a campaign, which was ludicrous to even call that a campaign. It was cute. It was better than nothing, but it wasn't really much. And I played it. It was alright. I enjoyed it, but it's basically multiplayer maps with people talking over them at the beginning and some points in the middle and at the end. There really wasn't much there. Which is sad, because, you know, I think there'll definitely be a very cool story that you could bring on to this game. And, you know, they added some kind of stuff, you know, there's like some sort of, you know, comic thing, whatever. I don't, you know, put it in the damn game. Then you went to the multiplayer and you're like, well, that's alright, it's a multiplayer game, I'm sure this is going to be beast. And you went to the multiplayer and there wasn't really that much in the multiplayer. There was like 5 modes or whatever it came out with, and the guns, there wasn't really much guns. And I mean, it's ludicrous for me to think that I've only used one gun primarily in Titanfall. Like, if I compare that to any Call of Duty game where I've played with every gun from multiple times, I mean, think about Black Ops 2. Think about your Black Ops 2 experience, which I think is will apply to everybody. When you're trying to get those gold camos or those diamond camos out, and you used every single gun in that game, and you had an experience that up to the point where when you'd pick up a gun on the battlefield, you'd be like, hey, this isn't my gun, but I kind of know how this works and I kind of know how to use it. Yeah, I don't got anything like that in Titanfall. Not even close. So I think it was a victim of its own hype. You know, it was kind of, it was in a very difficult spot, right? So it was going to be that next-gen shooter, that reason why we're all going to buy the Xbox One, the killer app. When, lo and behold, the age of killer apps, I think, is very little to none. There isn't a game, like, you don't go out there and say, I'm going to buy a PS4 for X. You're going to buy a PS4 because of the options that you got with it. You got the apps in it. You got the indie games that you could get with it. You got the games like The Last of Us that you can only play on that. Same thing with the Xbox One. Titanfall is definitely a part of that. You know, Titanfall is definitely a reason why you'd want to get the Xbox One. Especially now, it's like half off, or at least, you know, this week when I'm recording the week of Gamescom, it was half off. Yeah, definitely, dude. You definitely want to throw down $30 and get this, and, you know, pay a couple $20 more for the DLC, and then all of a sudden you got yourself a pretty damn good and complete game you can play online with your friends. Yeah, it's definitely a part of it, but it's not the reason why you get an Xbox One. The reason why you get an Xbox One is, you know, the different apps in it. You know, I do tons of stuff with the YouTube, the MLB on it, obviously all the video games, you know, games like Valiant Hearts that I could play on it. It's a more than just one killer app experience. There'll be some things like that, like maybe the Halo Master Chief Collection could come a lot closer, and I expect it to come a lot closer because of how much it's packing. But look at the difference between a Titanfall and a Halo Master Chief Collection. In all fairness, all those games already existed, so they had something to work off of. But your package is in 4 experiences: single player, multiplayer, the co-op campaigns in them. All the map. I mean, to me, it's ludicrous how much content is in there. Like, it's a no-brainer. And then you get access to Halo 5 beta, which is 3 weeks in December, whereas Titanfall was 4 game modes. I think it came out a little bit too soon. I think it was forced to come out a little bit too soon. You know, Xbox One, especially after you saw the initial success and the continued success that the PS4 have. You know, where it sold 10 million units, which, let's keep it real here. I mean, that's a very impressive number. It's the fastest console ever sold. You know, but the Xbox One's like the 3rd fastest console, behind like the Wii right now. The Xbox One is doing real good. They're both doing real good. That's exactly what I want. You know, I got them both because they're both doing real good, and I'm expecting to have experiences in both of them. I think the Xbox One will be probably my primary console from here on out, especially with third-party stuff. And I expect that, you know, in the end, I think it'll all even out. You can look at the past generation. I mean, the Wii was an anomaly in what it did, but if you look at, you know, between the PS3 and the Xbox 360, the Xbox won that generation, quote unquote, but the PS3 is right there by the end of it. You know, and I think that would be kind of the thing that happens. And, you know, Microsoft gets a bad rap because, you know, it's a big bad bad company over there, and it's not cool to really like a Microsoft console right now for whatever perception you might have in the internet. But this is a lot bigger than being cool and whatnot. And a lot was put onto that. Come March, once Titanfall comes out, it is gonna just sell like pancake. You'll never see anything like that. And I tell you this, there is no experience on PS4 that can compare to Titanfall. In terms of what this game delivers, in terms of the functionality, in terms of the game mechanics, in terms of the multiplayer aspect of it. But there's a lot of this stuff on PS4 that can't compete with the Xbox One in terms of when you look at something like The Last of Us. Or even that other comic game there that I don't like. Infamous, for example, Infamous Second Son. Which I think I might get, later on in the console generation. I'm not really in a rush for it. I really have no interest in playing it right now. So in the result, Titanfall was a good game. Not great. The fact that it was limited to one console was rough, and two consoles with the 360. But it's still in that same Xbox ecosystem, that same Xbox family. You bet if this game came out on the PS4, there would definitely be a lot more buzz behind it, just because you'd have at that point you'd have a collection of 15 million people that wanted to play it rather than 5. So we'll see where Titanfall 2 ends up. I think there'll definitely be a Titanfall 2. I think it had enough success to do that, and we'll see what that delivers. Do the maps become smaller in it? We'll definitely launch more game modes. Will there be more weapons? How much more are they going to reap out of Call of Duty? Or are they going to go in a different direction in terms of what they give us with the, in terms of what they give us in the multiplayer experience? We'll see. These are all questions to be seen. I fully expect there to be a Titanfall 2 release, or announcement. Probably, if not next E3, a little bit after that, maybe like a Gamescom, or I don't think it'll be a Tokyo Game Show kind of game to show, but I definitely expect it to be coming over there. It's EA, so you know how they're doing, but they're right now worried about other stuff as well. Overall, I think Titanfall, I kind of didn't get it just came at the wrong time, and it didn't come doing what everybody put on to do it, the high expectations that it came with, which just wasn't fair for the game itself. So if you haven't played Titanfall, man, you got yourself an opportunity to. I would highly recommend it, man. It's a really fun game. I like going back to it. It's really cool. I still to this day am marveled about the mobility and how you'll be able to move from point A to point B and all the crazy and cool stuff we're going to do over here. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Your boy Marcos on Wasteland Wednesday. Next week is Snoop Dogg. Deuces.